School is right around the corner. For some, school has already started back. In today's video, I'm gonna tell y'all a list of what you're not gonna do this school year. Preferably for me, so I can hold myself accountable. But yeah, let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. For those that are new, welcome to the channel. Simply K here, and as y'all have read by today's title, today's going to be a little bit different. For those that don't know, I am a preschool teacher. With school rolling back around, I just thought that it would be a good idea for me to come up with a list of things we're not gonna do this school year. And I know that's not proper grammar, but you know, it's time to lay down the foundation, because as teachers in the education field, we don't get paid enough. Yeah, we love what we do, and if we ain't gonna do it, who's gonna do it? This is a list of things that I just came up with off the top of my head that will be helpful for me, hopefully. And if you watch this video, if you're in the childcare field or know somebody that is in the childcare field, maybe you can share this video with them and it'll help them out. Because yeah, I know it's easier said than done, but you know, when you have an idea in your mind of how you want things to go, you're gonna work towards, you know, fulfilling that. So let's get straight into the video. So the first thing on my list of things we're not gonna do this school year is take on the role of other people's job description that's not in our job description. We're not gonna take on those roles. One, because a lot of times as teachers, we already wear too many hats. We're a teacher, we're a lawyer sometimes trying to deal with conflict in the classroom, a nurse. Sometimes we're even a parent. And not only that, not only dealing with little kids, you have to deal with the adults around you. And sometimes you're mediating for them too. So the fact that sometimes people come into the workplace, not even just in childcare, but just come in the workplace and expect you to take on your role as whatever you were hired there to do. They expect you to take on the role of other people that's slacking off. And then not only do they expect you to do that, they don't hold the people that are slacking off to a certain standard and expect you to do more and go beyond what your job description is. Hence, burnout. Burnout is real when it comes to the education field. The next thing we're not gonna do this school year is argue with parents. We're not gonna argue with parents. I get it. I'm not a parent, but I get it. A lot of parents don't want the label on their children when it comes to like extra help and support services, but we're the educators. We went to school for this stuff. If we're giving you factual information as to why this support service will be helpful and beneficial for your child in the long run, and you see the data that supports why your child or how your child is falling behind, and you just refuse to follow through with the support, it is what it is. I'll continue to support your child, support you as their parent, caregiver, whatever the case is, but I'm not stressing about whether or not paperwork gonna get submitted for a child that's falling behind. I know that probably sounds insensitive, but Ms. Green is very much an advocate for all of her children and families that she worked with. But yeah, it's sometimes so hard to try to get paperwork rolling and staying on top of parents with doing their part and following through, when sometimes they're not even educated on what's going on, or they just don't want to do the work. And you as parent, your kid's first teacher. So teaching doesn't start in the classroom or in the childcare center, in the daycare center. Teaching starts at home, in the home environment. And as a teacher and as a parent, we work together to provide that service for your child. The next thing we're not gonna do this school year is take work home. Now, I say that, but I'm guilty of it every year. Taking work home, working off the clock, trying to meet deadlines because you have your supervisor or you have, you know, other people in your ear telling you like this is due, that is due, on top of all the other stuff you got to do, classroom management, lesson plans, all of that. But teachers, educators, no matter the grade, I know it's easier said than done, but try not to take so much of that workload home with you, because we already take enough of our work stress home with us to begin with. And the fact that we physically bring home work, it just puts us in a space of feeling obligated to work on it for hours upon hours upon hours. And it takes away from our outside life of our 9 to 5. Sometimes you just have to let things be and just understand that a lot of the work that comes into being a teacher and educator is not easy, which is why it takes a special person to even deal with this type of work that we're dealing with. Try not to take your work home. And if you do have to take it home, at least balance it. Like, if you're gonna take work home one week, skip the next week or two. And if you do have to take work home, whatever the case is, whether it's a thing of you get paid extra hours on top of it, which I highly doubt because they don't want to pay us anyway. But and this is not a jab at the facility or the company that I work for. I'm talking about in general. Childcare education in general is very underpaid, highly underpaid. That's another topic. The next thing we're not gonna do, that I'm not gonna do, is feel sorry or feel bad for having to call off, for having to take a mental day, for having to call off because I don't feel well, like I legit don't feel well, and still trying to validate or make excuse to come in when I don't feel well. Just as quick as somebody hire you is just as quick as they can fire you. And even if you really need to take the day off and it seems as though it's so hard for you to call off because whether or not you're short staffed or you don't want to call off because you don't want to miss these hours on your paycheck, whatever the case is, we have to make time for ourselves. We have to make time for ourselves because nobody else is going to make time for us. And our mental health is important if we're going to deal with other people's kids. Like, we have to be more concerned about our well-being just as we are concerned about the children that we're serving. So what we're not going to do this year is miss out on those mental health days, miss out on them days of taking a rest day, whether you're legitimately sick or just need a mental health day. Now, I'm not saying abuse it, but what I'm saying is, if you've had a stressful week, by the end of the week, that Thursday, that Friday, and you legit need to call off. And I'm really speaking to myself when it comes to this. The list can go on and on about what we're not gonna do, but to sum this video up so it's not super duper long, the last thing we're not gonna do is simply be afraid of speaking up and speaking out when it comes to administration, management as a whole in the workplace. This is aside from the children, aside from dealing with what you have to deal with in the classroom, with managing children, behavior, the parents, but it's time that we hold our higher ups to the standard that they, expect us to deliver quality services. I'm gonna just put it like that. Because a lot of times I feel like as educators, and I can speak for myself, I'm not saying this for anybody else, I wouldn't say a fear, but it is low-key like a fear of really speaking on how you feel and letting higher ups know, like, you're not pulling your weight either as a supervisor, as a boss, as an administrator, whatever the case is, out of fear of a disciplinary action. At the end of the day, aside from the children, we are all adults in the workplace. So where I lack, if you can tell me and support me where I lack at, I would expect as anybody that's above me would ask me or let me know what it is that I can do to better support you and actually stand on that and actually do what it is that's being recommended. Like, we all have all of this stuff going on. We have billion and one tasks to do, but sometimes a lot of educators' stress come in at is mainly management and higher up, because we feel like there's a lack of support. So this 2023-2024 school year, I hope and pray that for all those children that are going back to school, whether it's pre-K, whether it's grade school, middle school, whatever the case is, I pray that all the children have a safe and successful and productive school year, that they pass all of their classes, they focus on what's important. So I just pray for a productive school year, not only for the children, for all educators, administrators, principals, all of those that will be working with children, because it's not easy. Nowadays you have children fighting teachers and all of that. So I just pray that God continues to wrap his hands of protection around every individual child that will be going back to school. And even if they have started back school, that he continues to watch over and protect all of them, especially those who seem like they don't have a voice or already have some type of anxiety when it comes to going to school. And then for us as educators and administrators and principals and intervention specialists and paraprofessionals, whatever the case is, whatever your job title is and you have to deal with children, I pray for your well-being, your safety, your mental health, and just remember that despite the challenges that come with working in the field of education, there are great rewards. And when we see these children outside in the communities and they're doing good for themselves and they're just being good citizens in the community, it makes a difference being that you were a part of it, whether you had a big role in their life or just a small itty bitty role. It's like whatever your role is, we still play a part in their growing up and just being valuable citizens in the community. So I hope y'all enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you are an educator, like I said, or know somebody that's in education, make sure you share this video with them. I hope it's helpful. And until next time, I'll see you on my next one.